Welcome to Paradigms at paradigms.life. Hi, I'm Baruch, host of the show. Thanks for tuning in. We've got a great guest on this episode. He's been a musician for his whole life, and he's going to tell us about how that started and about his recent celebrations, 50 years making music. But he's just created this amazing piece of music that we're going to talk about and listen to, and we'll get to hear all about the inspiration for this music. So let's meet him right now on this episode of Paradigms. Ganesh Rajagopalan, welcome to Paradigms.
Thank you to be here. I mean, it's a wonderful opportunity for me to connect with so many of your listeners, with you first, and then with your listeners and everyone. And it's such a pleasure. Thank you.
You have been out there making amazing music for many years, but you have recently done this thing. It's called Yugma. And I put on the YouTube video and I sat up when you started playing. It was like a revelation. This is so amazing what you're doing. Thank you for the incredible music. I want to know about you and your music and this piece of music that you have created, which is so stirring.
Thank you for such a kind introduction. What can I say? I mean, I've been blessed because I feel that with music, I can stir up emotions that I cannot say in words. I'm really grateful for that, because this journey, I think it started, from my mother's womb, because my father, who is also my guru. So he used to tell me that when she was pregnant with me, he used every day play the violin in front of her, with her, up by his side for about 15-20 minutes. And by the end of it, my mother would say enough, because I would start kicking her. That's when my first lessons of music, maybe it started from there, So I've been very lucky to have such a visionary dad that I have, and my mother, because both of them were my gurus, and they were the ones who instilled that passion and thirst, the creative urges of mine, put into that one singular path and get me to where I am today. For many years, myself and my brother Kumaresh, we played together, we played duets. We have played 50 years together. So we celebrated that 50 years of being together last year.
Oh, wonderful.
And I got to make Yugma also by on the way.
I talk with a lot of musicians and they tell me how they started in childhood, but no one has said it started in the womb. So you are the first out of literally maybe 1,000 people I've talked with. So that is absolutely beautiful.
No credit to myself.
Yeah, no, you came into those parents and they that's so
absolutely
wonderful.
I'm just so blessed. They are my parents, and so a lot of people also ask me, how did you choose your instrument? I would say I had no choice. The instrument chose me.
I love the raga as a form that communicates so many things.
Yes.
You are playing this on the violin, and it is, I think what made me sit up when you started playing on this video was just, here are these sounds that are, we're familiar with, but we're not familiar with because of the different instrument and because of the player. And I read that you had said, you had for years wanted to do this.
Yes.
So tell me about that journey of creating this piece of music.
From a very young age, my dad, who is also my guru, he was very open to me listening, and also different kinds of music and different genres, and especially with film music. In India, the film music is all over the place. So he himself was a great fan of film music. And that's where we got our first fusion ideas, right? Fusion music actually started with film music in India. So there you hear an orchestra playing, even in films and all that. That's where first time you hear the orchestra playing. So those sounds, and the composer I used to grow up with, who is a maestro Ilayaraja, he's a great improviser, and he's a composer who generally composes for films, and he does all these orchestral pieces and all that. He's a maestro. He's a master at it. So these kind of music has already influenced me, So when I was doing this piece in Hamsadwani, and when I was playing, I could feel the orchestra with me all the time, I mean, in my head, it was there, it was playing with me. So that's when during the pandemic and later, I went to my friend Christophe. I met him here to another friend. So we were talking about different things, and he's a lover of classical music, Indian music. So he always loved the rhythmic patterns in Indian music and the melodic structure and all that. So I went to him and said, I have this piece, but I want it arranged for an orchestra. Can you do it? So he listened to that piece and he said, wow, this is beautiful. I will do it. That took about 6-7 months for him to really absorb the piece and write. I mean, it's not easy to arrange for an orchestra. So because he was also the founder of Northwest Symphony, he immediately said, yes, let's do this. And I will conduct the orchestra. Lo and behold, it happened. Yeah. Playing with the orchestras, we didn't have a monitor on stage for me. So I couldn't hear myself so much as it's heard. When I heard it first time, after a little bit of mixing and all that, even at that point of time, I was like transported to heaven, like I felt the dream come true. Like, what I felt was happening in front of my eyes, in front of my ears. So
I'm talking with Ganesh Rajagopalan about his latest musical project, Yugma. Let's hear it right now, and then we'll be back with more conversation. This is Paradigms at paradigms.life. That's Ganesh Rajagopalan with Yugma. Isn't that amazing? As I said, talking with Ganesh, this music just made me sit up in my seat, blew my mind. So beautiful. Here's the next part of my conversation with Ganesh Rajagopalan. You have such a body of work that you've been making for so long with you and with your brother. Now this piece is out. You know, you said with music, I can say things I can't say in words. So now I'm going to ask you a silly question to use words to tell me some of what is the message in this piece of music.
No, the one word that you said even before we started, something called inspiration, that's a huge part of what music is all about. You know, I mean, it's more like a journey of the sound coming out and touching your heart. It's all about that, how it touches and inspires and motivates. In music, the greatest part of music is to experience that, the sound, experience the melody and the rhythm. So whatever other spheres that we are in, we always can say that, oh, I see this. But in music, you can't see that. And you can interpret it the way you want. So the music, when I created it, I might have an interpretation of it. I can tell a story of that. I can say it's about the freedom struggle of India. So many years, you know, from slavery to how we got independence and all that. We can say all that. I mean, some of the pieces can be melancholic, melodic, and that's an homage to all those people who sacrificed their lives for the freedom that we have now. I can say a big story out of that. But when you listen to it, you can have your own interpretation. You have your own story to tell. I mean, the moment one piece of music touches you, it has a story to tell. That is why it's inspiring you. So that word that when you said inspiration, it's actually very, very true for every piece of music that inspires us or touches us or makes us experience a different dimension. When you said it, I want to give that credit to you because that word actually meant much more than what you said at that point of time for me.
Music changes us. It changes us immediately. It goes into us and we feel it, and it changes our feelings. It changes our thoughts. It changes the way our cells operate in the body. It affects us on every level. And so I believe that it is one of the great things in the progress of human evolution.
Yes.
Not only the making of it, but the listening to it and allowing it to work through us.
Yes, absolutely. It's always beautiful to hear the other interpretation of the story that I created. You know, it's always great because whenever I listen to someone saying a different perspective of it than what I say, it actually like boggles my mind because I would say I never thought of it that way. I mean, like, but that's great because that's what is the definition of music. So I feel great about it. Yeah.
The experience of playing an instrument, of making sounds, not just that are pleasing, but that do tell a story, that have its own life, really.
Yes, yes.
When we're doing it, we're having an experience that is different from any other experience I know of.
Yes, yes.
And I think part of what makes musicians keep making music is they want that experience.
That's true. That's why we practice a lot because we want to live that experience all the time.
You play music a lot every day. I imagine you must play every day.
Absolutely. Even when I teach my students, I would like to play with them rather than just tell them what to do, because I teach them every phrase I play and then make them play. If they have to play 10 times, I play with them 10 times because it's all about repetition. In my childhood, I was always told that it's more like a mantra. Every phrase is a mantra. If you'd have a rosary or something and then you chant, it's the same thing as that. I mean, you repeat phrases. The more you repeat it, you become perfect. Otherwise, it's more like a raw vegetable. How does a raw vegetable ripen? Like ripen into a fruit. You ripen, the sound has to ripen. I always tell my students, the first time somebody can say in your household that you're playing the instrument, yeah, get your instrument. All of us are waiting for you to play. I mean, they come in, first 2 minutes, they will listen to you because they want to respect your parents' words. But after the second minute, it's your sound, the way you play, that connects them with you. And that's when people sit down and listen to you. It's all about how we ripen our sound. And that's what we call it sadhana. And we just keep on doing it. In my younger days, when I just came in, like when I was 21, 22, everybody used to ask me, you do music professionally? Do you earn enough to do that and all that? Those questions were very often. So they don't know that we put in so many hours of repetitions, so many hours to hone our skill in each of the things that we do. I mean, a lot of people would say, I mean, it comes easy for you, but nothing is easy.
We'll be back with more of my conversation with Ganesh Rajagopalan, but we're going to hear something now from the Meditate with Ganeshi album. It's called Shanmukha Priya. Just sit back and listen. You're listening to Paradigms at paradigms.life. Ganesh Rajagopalan with Shanmukha Priya from the album Meditate with Ganeshi. You could just listen to that over and over. Okay, here's the next part of my conversation with Ganesh Rajagopalan. You have an album out, Meditate with Ganeshji.
Yes.
People have different ideas of what meditation means and what it can do for them.
Yeah.
And there are as many ways to meditate as there are, like Rumi says, there are 100 ways to kneel and kiss the ground. But I'm interested in what it is for you.
For me, music is already meditation. When I play music, I'm in a trance. I love to be in that sphere, even in our Shastra, that says that music is the best way to reach the other dimension, reach God, to get moksha. Music is the best way to do that. When I'm in music, I'm already meditating. When I take up my instrument and I switch on my tambura, I'm already in that sphere of meditation, in a different world from where I don't want to come down easily unless it's really necessary. So meditation is that. Another aspect of what I also do is called Swar Yoga. It is an interactive chanting session of the notes of a particular raga. What I feel generally is that everybody is endowed with music in them, inside them. It's how we activate it. It depends on how much sadhana we do, how much practice we do. It's not that somebody is less talented or more talented. The talent can go only 5% or 10% max. After that, talent doesn't work. It's more than that. The Swar Yoga session is all about getting into the sphere of chanting back. So if I take up a raga, I take up the notes and slowly build the rhythm on and the tambura on. I recite a phrase and the audience recite back. Through the swara, we go into union with that other dimension, or whatever meditating sphere you want to be in. After a point, I feel that what happens when we increase the speed and it goes to a particular level, I feel that there are many people in the audience who just sit and close their eyes and not chant anything, but they are already in meditation. They don't want to chant. They want to be in music. So it happens with Swar Yoga. So this I do rarely nowadays because I become really busy. But Swar Yoga is another way of communicating music to a larger. It's not like I play all alone and you listen. It's not that. I sing, you all sing. So it's interactive. So we all do it together. It's more like a sing-along.
It's a communion.
Absolutely. I think I get a lot of pleasure because everybody chants back. And after a point, you can see the vibration in the room. It's just fantastic to feel it because you're already in a different sphere of being. When you said meditation and the dimension, I feel, different practices. I feel this was also one thing I found, that people are very, very magnetic, they want to do it.
The benefits I've experienced from going to this other dimension, I feel that it dissolves fear and it dissolves anger. It doesn't dissolve the drive to make things better that can come out of what we might call anger, but it dissolves that sort of spiky intensity that is actually very stressful.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. One thing is, it's such a big stress buster, the most important thing. We become much more calmer and we are not anxious. That's also there. So, I think it's a beautiful way to express ourselves in it. I feel that from that point, if we start expressing about things, I think we'll be much more clearer in our communication, I feel.
If all the world politicians would just meditate every day, the world would be a different place because they would stop with all of the destruction and the killing and all of this madness.
Sure. I think so. Yes, absolutely true.
We'll be back with the final part of my conversation with Ganesh Rajagopalan, but we're going to hear excerpts from one of his Swara Yoga sessions right now. Enjoy. It's called Ram Setu.
జగమేలే పరమాత్మ ఎవరితో మొరలిడుదు జగమేలే పరమాత్మ ఎవరితో మొరలిడుదు జగమేలే పరమాత్మ ఎవరితో మొరలిడుదు జగమేలే పరమాత్మ ఎవరితో మొరలిడుదు వాగజూపగు తాళను నన్నెలుకోరా వాగజూపగు తాళను నన్నెలుకోరా త్యాగరాజను తని నగుమోము 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 కనలేని నాజాలి తెలిసి నన్ను బ్రోవరాదా నన్ను బ్రోవరాదా
Ram Setu. That's Ganesh Rajagopalan. That's part of his Swara Yoga project. You can actually hear the whole thing on YouTube. There's a link at the Paradigms website. Okay, here's the final part of my conversation with Ganesh Rajagopalan. For listeners who want to know more, obviously we'll send them to your website on all that stuff. But you're not just a recording artist, you're a performer. You go places, you play music. What's happening with that part of your life right now?
Yeah, so you'd be very amazed to know that a couple of years back, I'm a part of the very, very cutting edge fusion band called Shakti. We did the 50-year Shakti tour also last year. We did a few concerts in India, then Europe, then the USA. We traveled all around. We did an album called This Moment, and that went on to win the Grammy for the best global album this year, 2024, in February. So it was a beautiful journey. I mean, playing with such masters like John McLaughlin ji and Zakir Hussain ji and Shankar Mahadevan, Selva Ganesh. All these people are just the best in their craft. So much more than that. I mean, when you say Zakir Bhai and John ji, they are much more than that. So to be with them on a single stage and perform is a big, very grateful for that. That's what I would say.
So this may seem like a weird question, but I'm just going to ask it anyway. I mean, you're a human, and so you have your moments, I'm sure, like we all do. And I'm interested to know, when you encounter sorrow or frustration or any of the things that we find challenging as humans, which is usually our emotions, how do you handle that?
No, it's the same like any other human. I'm not a saint. I want to become a saint, to control the mind and, control the emotions. Yeah, true. That's true. But not there yet. Not at all there. I mean, so it's the same like any other human, whatever emotions go through you, go through me, go through with someone else. It's the same. I can see that from when we sit on stage and perform, we are actually naked, like a very, very inquisitive mind can find the character of that person there on sitting on stage. And when you listen to their music, you know what kind of a person they are.
That's a beautiful answer. And you said exactly what I was hoping you would say. We are all in it together.
Yeah.
And we are all going through this together. And we have different roles we play in this great human story, but we are all in it together. And so you on stage playing this music are no different than the person sitting listening.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, the only thing that music gives upper hand to other forms is that when you are elevated, people listening to you are also elevated. I mean, we're all in the same sphere. I mean, when we are doing that, I mean, when we are listening to and enjoying, experiencing it, we're all in the same realm.
So wonderful. I am really happy to meet you and have this conversation. And I love everything you're saying. And your music is so beautiful. And I'm just filled with appreciation and gratitude.
It's not always that in an interview, you feel something inside you, some kind of a bigger happiness, joy. And you have given me that today. I mean, speaking about all this, it's like feeling blissful.
Well, it's mutual.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for talking with me and for taking the time and for this beautiful mission you're on of sharing this with the world. And may you continue to do it for as long as you want.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. It'll be a big blessing. Thank you.
Ganesh Rajagopalan. Wow, that was a great conversation. So enjoyed meeting you, and the music is just literally mind-blowing. I guess that's the point. Get us out of our mind, into the moment, into the other dimension. Folks, if you'd like to know more about Ganesh Rajagopalan, his website is ganeshrajagopalan.com, GANESHRAJAGOPALAN.com. And from there you can find links to all his projects, his past musical catalog, videos, and so much more. I encourage you to check him out. And the music is just really something. Thank you, Ganesh. Such a pleasure. Folks, if you enjoyed this episode of Paradigms, I hope you'll visit the Paradigms website at paradigms.life, where all of our episodes are archived, going back to 2009. And at the bottom of that page, there's a link to my latest project, an audiobook, Khalil Gibran's The Prophet, narrated beautifully by Starhawk. I hope you'll check that out. In my conversation with Ganesh, so much of what we were talking about was inspiration, how we alter our consciousness in order to be more well in order to free our mind from the constraints of things like fear and anger and stress so that we can bring our best selves to the world. And certainly Ganesh's music does that. We're going to end the show with a track from the Shakti album, This Moment, that Ganesh was talking about. The track we're going to listen to is called Las Palmas, and the word for the week is meditate. Let's meditate this week. Let's take some time to meditate, whether it's sitting silently or walking in the woods or walking down a street or sitting by the beach or wherever you happen to be. If you can take some time to just sit and be and breathe and be in the moment, even if it's a tough moment, see where that takes you. I do believe that if everyone did this every day, the world would be a better place for everyone. So let's see what we can do. All right. Baruch signing off for this episode of Paradigms. We'll see you next time with more inspiring people. Until then, meditate and be well.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Takadum
You've been listening to Paradigms at paradigms.life.